Alright, in this video I'm going to talk about the anatomy of a gaming PC and a few things to streamline your experience. This is probably one of the simplest things that you can do. Some of you build cars, some of you build engines, and in order to build a gaming PC, all you need is just a screwdriver. Some of you are carpenters, and believe you me, I built this table that this thing is on by myself, and it took me 10 times as long almost to build that than a gaming PC. For a gaming PC, you need a few things. Your GPU, that's one of the pieces that you need. You need your cooler for your CPU and your CPU, which basically will keep your CPU cool and make sure it doesn't overheat. You need a storage device, which I'm pointing to, it's hiding down there, and your motherboard, your RAM, and your power supply. That's it. I'm going to go ahead and get you guys here a motherboard and a CPU connected with the cooler to show you on a bigger device, just so you can see the sample better. If you notice, the CPU is sitting right underneath and the cooler is going to be sitting on top. So that cooler is hiding that CPU to keep it cool. And that's where you put your power supply 24-pin cable, your RAM, and all the others. So these are basic things that anybody should know. If you were building, say, a desk, that's what a RAM module looks like, you need to have, a screwdriver of some kind, or you can use a drill. Hey, use a screwdriver at your own detriment, or use a nail and a hammer, whatever it is you want to use, depending on how the build is. You have to use compatible items. And so all of the above needs to be put in place. Finally, you need a case as an enclosure to be able to go ahead and put everything in. Now, again, that desk took me way more time, and I said 10 times as much, I was being facetious, to build than it did to build this entire gaming PC. You also need a motherboard and a keyboard and a mouse. Sorry, motherboard. I said a motherboard. You need a keyboard and a mouse, and you also need some kind of a screen. In this case, I'm using a monitor, and believe you me, I think at the end of the day, many people are going to appreciate some of what I think are the nuances and the intricacies of this. And then get your controller. I'm going to show you guys how to go ahead and use it so that you can streamline your experience by pushing one button and turning your controller on, and that's it. So what you want to do is you want to take your power cable after everything is having been built. You plug that power cable into your, PC's power supply port. Ignore my ashy elbows. And you basically have your device in place. Then push your power button when it's all turned on. So here I'm going to go ahead and push the power button, click, PC turns on. Very simple setup. I'm going to drop that PC just so I can, you can see the components working on the inside. And I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to go ahead and just, connect the controller, set everything up, and ensure that things are working perfectly. Get yourself an HDMI cable. I know it's an HDMI cable, I promise you. And you can plug that HDMI cable into your TV screen if you want to use a monitor, whatever it is, and you connect that to your graphics card area of your gaming PC. Just make sure that, you are using the right compatibility. I've not seen a TV with DVI connectors before. Some monitors have DVI connectors. You can also do that. So I'm going to plug that HDMI cable into this computer. And just like that, magic, it literally is the most magical thing ever, plugging an HDMI cable into a computer's, HDMI port. Now, this goes against a lot of the myths. Let's talk about some of the myths as they're coming. Because a lot of people will say things like, well, you can't use your gaming PC on a TV. How do people come up with stuff like this? To be very honest, I think a lot of people are just making stuff up when they say this stuff. They just go ahead and make up something like that. But at the end of the day, that's not the case. And I've seen comments like this on my channel. Like I really have over time. So we need to set up our Wi-Fi. This computer has a Wi-Fi based motherboard. You can buy a Wi-Fi USB device that you can plug in and set up. I'm going to go ahead and set up the Wi-Fi right here in front of you. You're going to see it yourself. And I'm not going to show you my Wi-Fi password. I mean, why do you even want to see my Wi-Fi password? You don't. So good. I won't show you. So we're going to put that in. You're going to click OK. The thing is going to connect to Wi-Fi. It's going to tell you that it's all said and done. And bam, that's it. Like, just the way you connect your console to a Wi-Fi, you do the same for your PC. I'm going to go ahead and fire up Steam, and I cut off some stuff here. Don't worry. The goal is to just check 2 boxes as we launch Steam, and you're going to see how to get your device to pretty much just fire up and make its way into Steam and show you an interface that you can control with your controller. So let's go ahead and get the controller connected. That's the next piece. It's a Bluetooth system. The motherboard has Bluetooth. If you want to get a dongle for your controller of choice, you can do so, or you can go wired. I'm going to connect an Xbox Series X controller here, and I'm going to do so via Bluetooth because it has Bluetooth in it. I can also connect a PlayStation DualSense Edge controller as well. And maybe I can do that in a separate recording so that you guys can see for yourselves that also works, so that way you're not relegated to one controller. You can use whichever controllers you want. Just make sure you have compatibility as something that's in there as well. So pretty much go ahead and do that. You pretty much put your battery in, and go ahead and turn it on, and then put on your search button or whatever it is. In the case of Xbox, they have a button specifically on the top of those controllers that you can use to actually search for whatever Bluetooth device you want to connect it to. So you just push that button down for a few seconds, and it starts to blink. While it starts to blink, some computers and Windows 11 will recognize immediately. Windows 10, this computer still has, this computer has Windows 11. I think I updated to Windows 11. Some computers will recognize it, some won't. But in this case, if it doesn't, just open the Bluetooth settings, go ahead and search for your device, just as you will connect, say, your Bluetooth device or headset to your phone. It's the same exact thing. I know some people might say, but for the console, it already connects automatically. Remember, you have to actually put that console, you have to plug that, console controller with a cable first to then sync it wirelessly. So in this case, you don't need to do that. You're just doing it itself. And now the controller is connected. You can see the light stays on. And if I were to fire up a game, the controller will be able to go ahead and play that game. But I'm not going to fire up a game yet. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and show you guys how to actually set up Steam's how Big Picture mode works. And it's a very easy setup. You basically go ahead into your settings and check 2 boxes, and that's it. One box to fire up Steam when your computer kicks off. The other box for Steam Big Picture to fire on when your computer, basically kicks off. That's about it. So jump into Steam. On the top, go to settings. Very simple. That's not very straightforward, guys. Come on, hit settings, boy. Okay, and then go to interface, not library. I don't know why I went to library. And then you're going to select run Steam when computer starts up. And then the other option is run Steam in Big Picture mode. So you're going to go ahead and select that option, turn on. That's it. Close it. And then when you restart your computer, or when you turn it on the next time, it's going to fire up your Steam library, and you're going to have access to all your games. Now, some people might say, well, I have other launchers and all of the other stuff. You do know you can add games to your Steam library, even if they're not Steam games, right? Where it will just basically fire up the exe file. And it's a very straightforward thing as well. All you got to do is add a non-Steam game, which is an option, and you'll be able to collate all your games in one place using Steam. But I wanted to do this because the simplicity is something that a lot of people have basically, in a sense, misconstrued, because they don't know that your computer can turn on, and once it fires up, it can go straight into Big Picture mode, and it will just show all your games straight up. Look, the computer turns on. My keyboard is right there. I'm pointing to it. It's giving me some rando option to install some whatever. I'm going to kick that thing off. It wants me to say, automatically install all these whatever. We don't want it. And that's it. Steam Big Picture mode comes up, and it goes straight into your library. You turn on your controller and just wait for it. The controller is going to sync. It's going to give you welcome to Big Picture mode notifications, blah, blah, blah. I got to remove that nonsense. Yeah, so I got to use a mouse to get that crap off. And I'll show you how to use your controller as a mouse if you want. And that's it. You're in Big Picture mode. There you go. So you have an interface like a console if you want. Now, I don't use Big Picture mode because, again, I'm a computer person, and I'm not going to, not use this stuff. So you have access to all your games. What I'll do here is, this computer, since I recently built it, I haven't installed any games. Well, I have now, but as of the time of recording this, I had not installed any games. So I'm going to go ahead and stream a game from my other computer, because you can do so. If you have 2 devices at home, one of them has it installed, you can stream the game from there. So basically what the PlayStation Portal was doing before they allowed for cloud streaming, I have to actually add this computer to my library. And so what I did was, it wants you to actually now fire the game up on the other device before it would then let you then do that, which usually is how it works. It's supposed to kick the game off from the other device. So I had to just go ahead and just fire the other device up and turn the game on there, and then just to stream it, just so that you guys can see. It's not like, it's crazy. We'll do some other videos where you see the games natively installed. I think I installed Prototype, Arkham City, and I'm installing Street Fighter 6. just so that you guys can pretty much see those games in place. So go ahead and connect it now that other game is fired up. It will give you a notification. Just use your controller and boom, the game's on. PlayStation game on your PC with a very small setup that takes less time than building a table, than changing oil in a car, because you got to wait for that oil to drain and all that. If you can change a light bulb, you can do this stuff. Some people usually make it sound like this is very complex. And what's funny is, if you look through the majority of gamers, many gamers are technical people. They're naturally technical people at the end of the day. And imagine if you were, say, Mark Cerny, and you had to build yourself a gaming device. You would do exactly what you're doing is exactly what Mark Cerny does. The difference is they'll sell the exact same device to everybody. But here, as a PC gamer, if somebody who wants to use a PC, you're building a device that you yourself, you want to use with the options to do what you want in that device, to do what you want with that device. And you can build and mold it to actually conform to what your console experience is. Now, some people say they have some issues here and there, the game sometimes will have some issues and so on and so forth. But usually when games have those issues, they are as a result of the developers not necessarily designing their game to be able to meet the majority of gamers. One thing I've noticed is PlayStation games they barely have any issues on PC. Barely. They came in and put a lot of developers to shame. So when I see a lot of folk from, the console side saying this, I'm like, man, if we didn't have PlayStation games on PC, we would continue to still have this misconception. But PlayStation came in and set a standard now that many developers are starting to realize, we can't get away with all of this nonsense that we've been doing, because we now have a big publisher that spends a lot of, money and time and effort on its games, making games on PC as well. So people can actually see that, and they can have the expectation of, man, we really want our games to run like this, because this is the premium PC experience. PlayStation really does set a standard. Now, other developers do, don't get me wrong, but PlayStation is one that I can easily point to. And as someone who played on PlayStation for the longest time, too easy. Does that make sense? All right. I hope this answers a few questions. This video is not to convince you to become a PC gamer, by the way. This video is just to show you that, hey, if you think that there's a difficulty here, you got to sit there and update drivers and all that stuff, that is a lie. Don't let anybody lie to you. PC gaming can be as streamlined or as complicated as you want it to be. It's all you. You can exit big picture mode if you want. You can go ahead and install the game locally. So you can basically just do that. That's how you install a game. You pretty much click it and then you say install. If you want your mouse to, behave like a keyboard, there's a small app that you can use for it, but it's not an ideal solution. It's fun, but use a mouse. What the heck? You're using a computer. You know what I mean? Not everything has to be spoon-fed to you with boxes and toggles like your phone. I feel like the dumb down of the phone and the technologies these days to make it much more, in quote, user-friendly has become so very weird that now nobody can drive a manual car anymore. Nobody can drive a standard anymore. And we think it's like a great thing in society. I feel like, we need to be able to have some room where people can be more versatile, with the things that they use and interact with different things, if you get what I mean. So again, all the talk about, oh my gosh, it's so difficult, it's so complicated, it's so this, it's so that, man, I think we need to put that aside and we need to just come to the point where it's just a matter of preference. Now, if you want to keep playing on console, by all means keep playing on console. No one is stopping you to play on console. But the talk about it being, oh, this is so complex, this has all these issues and all that stuff, to me, I strongly believe that, if we're talking about grown adults, this is stuff that you can teach a 13-year-old. But if you're talking about grown adults, man, this should not be a problem. This should not be an issue. And yes, I'm using my flashlight because my lighting sucks in my office, but it is what it is. Okay, comment section, talk to me. If you have any questions, let me hear them. Hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.